Hey everyone, this is WobblyWallaby. Today is a great day because the new Time Wish machine is out. There are a lot of great headwears, and I'll go over which ones are good and also provide free-to-play alternatives so you can best decide how to use your reunion proof. In this video, I'll cover 1. The Time Wish machine overview, 2. Headwear analysis, and 3. Let's roll. First is the Time Wish machine overview. This machine is available from June 10th to August 10th, 2022. The Global and C machines are the same this time, so there's no exclusive headwear to worry about. There are different levels of headwear. The purple level has a 1.8% pull rate, the blue level has 4.5% pull rate, and the green level has a 18.7% pull rate. Besides those, there are exclusive costumes that also have a 1.5% pull rate. And lastly, you have a 54% chance to get reunion proof, so you can at least claim something you want. You can get reunion proof through the Kafka Adventure log, or from doing events. For free-to-play players or semi-free-to-play players, using reunion proof is very important. You definitely don't want to claim a bad headwear. Next is headwear analysis. The green headwear are really bad. They're just filler that will make you sad if you see it. So there isn't any reason for you to claim any of these, so I will skip this. Next are the blue headwear. Most of these are not very good, but there are 4 of interest, and these will cost you 12 reunion proof to purchase. There are 2 hidden gems here that are good for their deposits. First is the Original Will Pouring Balloon, which gives you 1% attack deposit in your handbook. I bought this with reunion proof, and I would recommend this for non-free-to-play players since getting deposits is always good. The same goes for the Pantera Guard, which will give you 1% magic attack deposit, so I also bought this as well. You typically don't get any 1% deposits for the blue level headwear, so it's definitely something that is easy to miss. Next is the Embroidered Chest. This provides crit and crit damage for every 12 luck. If your build relies on you pumping luck, then this can help you get more critical damage. However, I don't see this tail being used too often. Instead, the more common one I see is the Windsong Shepherd's Tail, which also gives critical damage percentage, but this time it's based on your agi. For both of these tails, the free-to-play alternatives that I would recommend are Meteor for crit and crit damage, the Dreamy Cattail for auto attack damage percentage, and if you're fighting against MVPs, a High Refined Summer Banana Split, which can provide a lot of damage to MVPs. Next are the purple quality headwear. This will cost you 21 reunion proof to claim. First is the Happy Unicorn. Honestly, this is just for the memes. Also, the devs need to be more transparent with how this works, otherwise it's very confusing. So good thing for ROMhandbook.com for showing us how this buff really works. The way the stacks works is you definitely want less, otherwise your percentage to activate this effect will actually go down. Without any stacks, the original percentage is 75%. The percentage falls to 55% if you have between 1 and 3 stacks. Then it falls to 35% if you have more than 3 stacks but less than or equal to 6 stacks. And if you have more than 6 stacks, then the chance is 15%. This is probably to prevent you from killing people endlessly and then having this buff for way too long. So it does add to the balance, but overall I still think this is kind of a bad effect, and I wouldn't recommend getting it. In PvE, the bosses and the minions of summons are usually pretty hard to kill anyways, so using this is not a reliable way to stay alive. For PvP, the best possible scenario I could think of is you're constantly killing the weakest person, and that causes the rest of the team to be pissed off at that person because you're harder to kill. Then they end up yelling at this weak teammate, and then there's a bunch of internal conflict. Lifelong friendships are destroyed, and people get so upset that they rage quit, so you end up winning. But seriously, I wouldn't recommend this. Also, you don't get a 1% deposit for attack or magic attack, so I didn't find it particularly useful for me. but people that need this type of reductions could definitely benefit from it. Next is Sanders Legacy. This provides you with job EXP, but less base EXP. This is pretty good, but personally I don't like to buy EXP gachas, as their uses are quite limited. If you need to power level, you should buy the Saint gear from the Prontera NPC, which will give you 10% job EXP for certain items. Or you can get people to help leech you. If you want to learn more about leeching, you can watch my video on it. A link will be in the description. Next is Love Goddess. This is one of my favorite back items. Unlike many of my no-group friends like Whack-A-Mole, I do not have the Wrathcracy Fallen Feather, which is very common for certain classes. So Love Goddess is the second best option. I used this on my Novice Guardian, and I used it on my Dorm as well. Both of these characters are tanky, so the extra damage taken isn't really a problem. Also, if you MVP hunt, this can help you one-shot things, so you may not even take any damage at all. Also, this is final damage, which is one of the best modifiers in the game, which is why it's so fantastic. For free-to-play alternatives, I would use the Baby Owl for the penetration percentage, or the Devil Wings for the damage percentage. Next is the Frost Masquerade Mask. This face item first came out in 2019, and it was the best in slot at that time. However, a lot has changed since 2019, and sadly, this headwear is now obsolete. If you don't have any other meta face items, this is still pretty good. The effect requires you to have your attributes at 99. You can get up to 6 attributes to 99, and so this will give you 90 attack and 9% attack through Frost Focus. Frost Focus takes effect immediately and doesn't show up in your buff list, but your stats will reflect it. I'll do a quick damage test with my Lightbringer. First, I showed that I have all 6 attributes at over 99 for the maximum effect. My dummy is set to Demi-Human, Earth, Large, and MVP. The dummy strength is at 0%. I'm using a plain Frost Masquerade mask. My Knuckle Boost does 113.9 million damage. Then I equip a plain Juggling Queen for 10% MVP damage. My Knuckle Boost now does 116.1 million damage. I switched to Silent Sinking, which has a 4% skill damage. I hit it for 113.5 million damage, so it's about 400,000 less than the Frost Masquerade. The Silent Sinking is to show that even with 4% skill damage, it is actually still very competitive. The gacha that many people use is Winter Crown, and unfortunately mine has an enchant on it which will skew the results. However, if I wore this, I would have 9% skill damage, and it would even beat the Juggling Queen for damage. For auto attack classes, the Illusory Light Mirror would be better, and you could also use the Juggling Queen as well. Basically, a lot of better headwear came out after this was released, so this is why it's not as good anymore. For free-to-play alternatives, Silent Sinking for 4% skill damage, or the Angel Spirit for 4% attack, are okay replacements. Next is Wheel of Fortune 4-Leaf Clover. It's quite a long name, which is why many people just call it Koi. For this headwear, you'll get the Lucky Koi Carp, which gives magic skills have a 20% chance to crit, inflicting 150% spell crit damage. For each 6 luck, it increases the spell crit damage by an extra 1%. This is a must-have for magic users. The crit build is very strong for magic classes, and if I was to play a magic class, I would definitely use this. Koi is great for dealing damage over time. You're going to be giving up some guaranteed damage from other damage increasing headwear for a chance to crit, so the consistency and the average damage will be better over a long period of time. For example, if you're dealing with tough weekly instances. For weaker MVPs in the wild, it can be super frustrating to lose an MVP because your crit didn't happen, so you didn't one-shot the monster. So in that case, you may want to switch to other headwear that will guarantee the one-shot even if your damage over time is lower. It's really up to your own personal preference, and there are ways to increase your critical damage chance through cards, accessories, and gachas. There really aren't good replacements for this head item, so two I would recommend are the Golden Dragon Crown for the magic penetration 4%, or against MVPs a high refined White Knight helm. Next is Light Food. This provides skill damage plus 5%, variable cast time minus 10%, and when using skills, there's a 10% chance to restore 5% SP. Skill damage is one of the best modifiers in the game, so this mouth is really great. I still see people using this mouth right now. For me, the Gacha Huge Bounty, which does 10% damage to MVPs and mini-monsters, does perform better than Light Food, and I see a ton of people have switched over to Huge Bounty after it came out. Skill damage can still be really good for the PvP scenario, where Huge Bounty wouldn't do anything. For free-to-play alternatives, against MVPs, you can use the Butterfly Breath for 5% damage to MVP and mini-monsters. You can get this by doing the Eclage story quests. Also, Abyss Whisper for 3% attack and magic attack works well too. Next, let's roll. Let's see if luck was on my side this time. I chose the BCC method, where you can draw for 10 times and get a bonus roll. I always hope for costumes, since claiming them for 45 reunion proof seems like a ripoff to me. For roll 1, I get a costume and the embroidered chest. For roll 2, I get nothing notable. For roll 3, I get Light Food. For roll 4, I get the original Wheel Pouring Balloon. With that, I have 75 reunion proof, so I buy out Wheel of Fortune, 4-leaf clover, and the Frost Masquerade Mask, although that's mostly for damage testing and for the deposit. I wish you the best of luck on your rolls. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe.